Hi guys, my name is John Girardi. I am a professional hypnotist. I am a acting coach. I'm a military intelligence analyst and a lot of things. I'm also a sex coach and doctor. So really, I'm actually here today to talk to you about the manifesting, which I don't like to call it, but the bringing about yourself answers that you want to understand, an easy way to understand them. All right. When you are developing in your mother, okay, that's your answer right there. And it's not Mother Nature, okay, like your trees and water and food and stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's the developmental way of the body. Okay, now the answer, the reason why it's the answer is because you don't know words. Okay, um, until you're about whatever 2 years, 3 years old, and you start to comprehend words a little bit. Your body is not made of words, and you are not a word at all. Okay, the developmental way of your height, okay, stops at a certain point in time when you are like 17 years old. Okay, you stop growing, you know, and you're whatever 6 feet tall, and you don't grow any taller. Okay, people say when somebody is, say, a drug addict, okay, that they need to grow up. Well, that's not the answer. All right. The brain growth way is never going to surpass the body. Okay, it's never going to do it. It's a whole unit that works together. And they then say, well, how am I going to grow up? Because they know that that is actually a thing. You want to know why? Because they're doing drugs. That's why. And they have a lot of thoughts that you don't even know exist. Like the fact that they're actually doing drugs because they know that there could be a medical pill that cures addiction in any which way, shape, or form. Sex addiction, drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and any other addiction there will ever be. Not words. They know words aren't real because they're not stupid at the same time, and they know that the words that they're thinking that would stop their addiction doesn't. It doesn't stop the problems that the alcohol gave to them. Okay, excuse me, the addiction gave to them, the food, the sex, everything else. Okay. Now the point I'm trying to make is that I hate when people tell other people to grow up. They have absolutely no idea what the fuck they're talking about at all. Okay, excuse my French, but that's the way I'm going to say it. Now, usually women, when a woman wants to understand the fact that they want to be a woman that knows how to make love like a movie is real life. And every woman probably that you have ever talked to from a certain age, probably about 35 years old and on, wants to make love like a movie is real life. It's just a smart thing to do. Okay, it's an enjoyable thing and would make, sexual life much better. They're never going to do it, okay, if they keep trying to tell themselves or their husband to tell them that they need to grow up and that movies are not real as real life. Okay, no. The answer to all of this, okay, to any kind of person telling you to grow up, all right, they have no idea how they mean. Okay, they think they do, but it's actually a bullshit story, complete 100%. Okay, it actually is called an adult. Okay, and this adult definition to becoming an adult is a master of people, places, and things. And that's it. Okay? A master of people, places, and things is an adult. Okay, you'll become an adult. If you become an adult and you never were before at the age of 90, so what? You finally did it. Okay? And, that's all it is. It's never going to be anything else. It's not going to be that the words that you think are better than your body, or your body is better than your brain and the words. No, it's never going to be. It's just not real. Okay? It never will be. And if you keep trying to do it, you are going to stay as insane as you are today. Okay, and you are going to be telling people to grow up here and grow up there. And they're going to say, well, why don't you shut the fuck up and tell me how to grow up, because it ain't working how you're saying. As you can see, you do it every fucking day. You tell me to grow up every day. It's not going to work. Okay, it's not real. Now, so the big point is that I'm going to teach you how to manifest. And I don't like to call it that, which it is called gaining knowledge and learning to witness in front of you the things you need to witness to become a master of people, places, and things, besides studying things as a school, or reading an informational book, or watching TV and watching the Discovery Channel. Any way you could learn. Now, you can actually learn anything in one shot, okay? But it has nothing to do with words. And you also don't have to speak it, okay? At all. You do not have to do that, okay? As long as you know you hit it on the money, then you hit it on the money. And when I mean you learned anything, I'm talking about things that people will never know, unknown to the world, that are hidden, that you could be in another dimension, learning that, say, as an example, this dimension is where Kama Sutra, the sex art from India, is actually the way to achieve anything, or that Kama Sutra is anything. Okay? And to tell you the truth, if you were to think about it like that, it's actually a certain shape. It's a certain shaped condom that you use during the shaping of the body in Kama Sutra, and you will do it. It's called achievement geometry. Okay? A shape that is shaped in a certain manner will achieve goals, results, and achievements. Okay? It's called achievement geometry, and configurations, if you want to be like that. So, when you learn everything, okay, you can do it yourself by a thought. First of all, I'm going to tell you how to do this, okay, which is that shape way I just told you. All you have to do is think the shape, and you just learned absolutely anything in continuum, okay? Also, no limits, no illusions, or no more illusions. They don't exist anymore, okay? So, one way is geometry. The other way is mathematics, and the other way is art. Religion and spirit, okay? Because that's your body. Your body is a color, so it's art. Your body has 10 fingers, so it's mathematics. Your body is a shape, so it's geometry. Your body can ingest a pill that a religious thought or spiritual thought made right in front of you, and how the pill is how counts. Not what. You put it in your mouth and now you're physically religious and spiritual, even though religion and spirit is art, mathematics, and geometry anyway. Like sacred geometry, religious paintings and tattoos, and the fact that you are a human artwork, an alive masterpiece of art, and that's why it's religion and spirit is physical. Okay, I didn't say emotion, and I didn't say feelings. Okay, I'm not going to go there. That's your business. I want you to decide how, because I can think shapes and numbers better than those two. That's why. That's my business. You do however you wish, though. That's fine. Okay, nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't want to go there because I am a doctor. That's why. That's why I don't want to go there. At the same time, you know, it's very hard to see emotions and feelings in open heart surgery, where they say, besides psychology, where they say that, you have such a lovely heart or you have a very caring heart. You don't see it in open heart surgery, but that's your business. I'm not trying to rank on you or anything at all, but that's a way to understand that, yes, there is better than feelings and emotions when it comes, between friends and couples and marriages and relationships with kids. Anyway, I actually have a master's degree in a couple of things. One of them is coaching the wellness and relationships of a couple and raising their children. There's a lot of things involved in it, and that's actually kind of one of them, depending on how the child really is. If they're a good athlete, if they're very smart in school, okay, if they are artsy and stuff like that. So anyway, the main purpose of how I was just talking to you about the subjects on how the body is because that's where you're going to be using the ways of learning anything in one shot. Okay. Also, this has nothing to do with telepathy. You're not going to, after you learn, where you're not even going to be saying it, you're not going to be using a special brain telepathy power to teach it to everybody without using your mouth. Okay, without using your voice and talk to them. No, there's no such thing as that. And the reason why is because excuse my French, but why the fuck would you want to give the person your brain? Okay, that's what telepathy really is, and it's a bunch of baloney, and don't bother with it. ESP is real, but you're not annoying the person's brain. You're just thinking the answer to the things that they think, and that's it. You think is not their think. Okay, your brain is not their brain. So you think and they think, but it's not the same person and not the same brain. So, that's what you really have to understand. Now, that's why telepathy is not real. And it's very annoying when people do it, too, because they give you their brain like that, like an idiot. Okay, in street terms, it's actually called a whack, if you really want to understand, stuff like that. When I was living in New York, and they would actually say this dude's whacked out, but then a telepathic understanding is actually called a whack, if you want to be like that in street terms. So they don't even say telepathy because they're mostly very sick and confused kids and people in their 20s in a gang. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make, okay, is that when you learn, okay, when you think of this learn where you just learned anything, it was really manifested from a witnessing conversation I just had with you. You saw me in front of you talking about how you saw my body. So I'm not wrong. Okay, and you can also do it with how you paint, say a house, like my house right here. This is my house. Paint your house in a certain sequence, okay, where the paint is you're like an artist on your house, or you paint on an easel. You can do that too, but it helps you, and it does for you, by the sequence you painted in. Okay, that paint in a certain font. Okay, and I'm not meaning a certain language, calligraphy type. I mean a certain font, like the achievement geometry I was talking about. And that's achievement configurations. A certain font in a certain manner is an achievement configuration that gets something done. So actually art therapy would actually cure mental illness, to say. Okay, which is very, very real. It's just that it's not really taught at the same time because the economy would shut down. If people knew this video in the educational field, the economy would shut down in every single country in the entire world. And that's why they don't want you to cure anything. That's one thing. So I'm making this, and this is why I don't work I can work as a doctor, not an American doctor, but traditional doctory skills and hypnosis, is that, I don't like that fact, and I don't want to be part of that fact. I would work as an Ayurvedic and hypnotic therapist to cure the person, and I'm with the things I've said in this video. And, because, like, when somebody needs to get told a story in storytelling hypnosis, the answer to doing any story, I don't care the limits of it, okay? It just keeps going, no limits, and anything is possible, is that the answer is a certain type of a number one. And that's nonverbal hypnosis at the same time, because it's not a word, it's a number, okay? So these are the things I know, because I know how to think the Enneagram learnt, and I learnt absolutely anything, and it's not ending, okay? It just doesn't end, okay? Now, it was done through the outside world, not intuitive, okay? Not intuitive. Now, a good way to understand is that manifesting is, you can manifest anything, okay? But it always comes from the outside world, okay? But it's how you adjusted, how I just did this, it's how you adjusted the outside world so you manifest anything you wish right the heck back into your head, so your head is better from your head to the outside world. I was talking the whole time to you about it, okay? And what I did is I re-taught your brain, okay, so you listen to achievement geometry or a certain type of color shade or achievement configurations with art and mathematical number types and stuff like that. That was how I adapted, adjusted, and then understood towards me. And the best example ever is a shaped pendulum in hypnosis that does anything, okay? It's right out there. You don't have to use the paint. You don't have to do it with the wall. You could use, the artistry is the same thing as the pendulum when you paint, or tattoos. Okay, that's fine. This tattoo actually means I am a tattoo in Chinese, traditional Chinese. So if a pendulum was shaped in a certain manner, okay, this manner does for you. All on its own, it's just doing no limits, bum, 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 plus motion and notion. Okay, not expression. And you don't do expression. You do motion and notion according to how you were taught. And that's it. Okay? There's no such thing as expression or self-expression. Okay? No. When you are acting, you are not expressing. Okay? When you are doing a behavioral game, okay, when you are in acting school, you are not expressing. You are doing a notion. You know how zombies walk? Zombies. It's a notion that appears as a zombie because the label of it is that zombies are the walking dead. So you then notion and motion like a zombie in a movie, not express yourself. Because according to the label that zombies and how they are as the walking dead, okay, is supposedly that slow walking, half dead and half awake person that was dead and then came back to life, okay, and they walk slow with their head tilted to the side and their fingers are bugging out. And their clothes are ripped and there's blood all over their face or a knife in their freaking head. Yeah, because it's labeled that way from the originator of a zombie apocalypse person, okay, which was started in the movies in ancient times according to certain things, okay, ancient alien theorism. So, you know, the pendulum, and this is not expression, there's no such thing. They're doing a notion by a label, okay, which is very important. It's the most important thing, yeah, but there also is not labeling anything about notions. So the next movie about zombies is that there's a zombie Superman that can do like anything that Superman could. Okay, and he's a good zombie. It's the same shit. Okay, but there's no expression. It's all notions. The notion of going back and forth is motion and notion. Okay, the pendulum. How it is shaped is the best thing you will ever know. You know this. You don't have to worry about the artwork if you're not artsy. You don't have to worry about painting on an easel or getting tattoos. Because the pendulum and how it is shaped in such the shape it's shaped in, and I'm going to say it like that again, okay, is going to do how it's shaped. Its cause entails does effect, and facet entails does result. Same thing. Okay? So, the manifesting is the pendulum. You can then understand it, the pendulum, as your own hand. So if you could shape flow with motion and notion combined, your hand in front of your face. That's your manifesting tool. Okay? That's your manifesting tool towards you. Now, I want to get to something even better. If you can't do this, not saying 100% this is going to be done, but if you can't do this, bring it into the pendulum binds you to do the pendulum description that I just said with your hand as a massage. Okay, now this really is a class I studied, and it's manifesting the things you want to manifest by orgasm and how good they are and how they can do for you. Okay, which I know so much about. I'm not going to go there because, like, I could use sex as a tool for, like, wow. Okay, I'm a tantric doctor. I mean, I know how to just caress myself out of nowhere and at a bar. They won't even know I'm doing it, and I will become, you know, anything I want. And it's because of how serious I am about it, is that I'm a finding skills specialist. And that means that I can find brand new things that nobody even knows about. And all I have to do is go down my chest or on the side of my leg. Like, say I went like this. Like, say, oh, you know, it's a little chilly in here, you know. And I roll off my legs. And I did that in a certain sequence. Okay, and that's called the Mach, by the way. And it, like, you know, a certain sequence that does, again, cause and tail does result. The sequence that I put it in is the cause and tails does result. The sequence does the result. Okay, so this can manifest, you know, things, and you could use massage, you could use sensuality practicing to do it, and you can actually massage yourself and your sexual organs better than science. Did you notice how I didn't say the body was science? It's not, though. The body is not science by appearance. There is no invisible act that goes on through your body that you can't see that is not a color, a mathematics, or a shape, okay, doing motion and notion. There is not one. Not even your nerve pulses can't be seen by a scientific machine. Okay, I don't believe in science, don't get me wrong, and it's not real. If you want to believe in science, that's fine. By appearance and real emotion, and you can't tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. I live this way every day, and there's, I'm 3/4 of the way fine. Okay, because nobody's perfect. At the same time, at the same time, you know, um, the better than an orgasm is just a sequence away. Okay, when I give myself my personal genital massages that I do when I'm relaxing in the bathtub, I do not have an ejaculation orgasm or even an orgasm at that. I go past it and better than it. And then I will relax and I will take some relaxing breaths and I will do it again. And it's a tantric massage. It's a Taoist massage of Dr. Skills. Okay? And I think you should really try it because it's a big point to this video. Alright? This will bring about the way and knowledge. Oh, I wanted to get to that point too of doing a movie. Okay, that's the big deal too. Knowledge is a human, not intelligence. Like I was saying in the beginning, nature, water, and food is not a human. Just because we drink water and eat food does not mean we're eating anything or medicine, anything we're supposed to. Okay, then I know how the real thing we're supposed to be drinking is, and it's not even on the planet like you think. And the food where we would never be sick, but they again don't care because they have to run the economy. Okay? So remember, you be yourself. I don't like to say it like that, but you be your own person, your own manner, in your own way and your own definition. Okay? And when you maybe have to go to the doctor, don't let them know. Okay? Don't let them know. Be upset. Don't be angry because there's no reason for that. At the same time, you're not a high power like the president or the CIA that has to run the economy all day. Okay, and the doctors will never be here again, and they won't make money, and people won't go to school. Everything will be completely bogus. I mean, in a way, it is anyway. But you have to understand that there is. That's the only reason why the doctors don't come up with cures and blah 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 blah. Okay, because the economy has to be ran. Okay, so that said, let's get to the biggie here. Now I was talking about tantric massaging and manifesting and learning anything in one shot, but remember, it's not words. There is language, then there is linguistics, okay, which is two other things. Then there is a language of non-words, which I was just explaining to you, the math, the shape, the color, okay, and the motion and notion, smelling, tasting, hearing, and now thinking, okay. It's all how, not what. So actually, if I was talking about the language of love, there is the way to explain it in words. Then there is the way to explain it in linguistics, to teach how to use a linguistic way to help somebody or to get something done. Okay? So, in systems thinking, which is actually a linguistics way because of thinking and the word system, doesn't necessarily mean you use words or language. Okay? So, love is not necessarily words. Okay? Just hear me out here. But you can understand that there is, again, I'm going to use this as the example, a certain type of a number one, not the number one. Also, you just learnt anything by, with, and from that number one, okay? And it is not words, but you're comprehending it in any around understanding way, and the knowledge, okay? Not intelligence, remember knowledge, where you could do better than love, than making love, than movies at that. Okay, then you know, but it's not words again. So that language, I mean that way of love isn't words, becomes a massage, and when you do a massage, you don't do words. You're just doing a massage. So you know how you add that to the massage. You know the love without word as not being words to the massage, and better, better than love, better than that. Yeah, then you'll get wowie, and you'll do the movies. Okay? So if you named a movie without using words with the way I just told you, to get the movie done so you could live it, there you go. This is a master of people, places, and things, adult, from the beginning of the video. I said it in my to help you. Okay, now this is how I'm going to end the video because it's been a half an hour already. Okay, there is no right or wrong answer to this. Okay, it's just the answer you give to you. Just like I was saying with the telepathy, you're you. Your brain is yours and no one else's. Okay? You have a certain kind of nose. You have a certain color hair. Okay? And in sexual terms, your breasts, nipples, and breasts are not the same as everybody else's. So you have to live your own man and woman in your own manner, in your own facets and fashion and own definition, and you give yourself the answer by that. There is no right or wrong answer, just the answer you give to you. Give it to yourself. Okay, the whole video. When I say, oh, learn anything and give it to yourself, be that nice, kind, and peaceful and loving towards yourself. To give it to yourself is thought. Okay? And then you will do it. You will name the movie, okay, so the movie gets done. But it's not words. It's a certain type of the number one because you're math, a color shade. And it doesn't have to be said. And then you say this to your husband. You say this to your wife or your couple, your partner. Okay? That's how you get it done. Okay, now, another point I wanna make is that you know how I was saying the body is a whole, and that your brain is never gonna outdo your body, however the heck that means, because it's just not real. Okay, now the body, okay, is a mental channel of witnessing, not internal. Not internal. It is a mental channel of witnessing because you can see your body, okay, with your eyes. You can smell, you could taste your body, you could hear your body, and you can think by that whole entire way. You see it, you smell it, and you can see it. Tattoos are a tool of mine. I see them on my body. Okay, I even say I'm a tattoo because I'm a color by this tattoo. Okay? Anything is that mental way. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay? When somebody has a skin problem, which I actually have, I have a skin disease. Okay, I'm not going to say, what it is. But my understanding, and this is the only fact there is, Because biology, again, is not separate from psychology. You have your circulation, you have your nervous system, you have your seeing, like I was just saying, and your hearing, smelling, and tasting, and thinking. Okay? There is one mental trouble that everybody has, and that's why the world isn't perfect today. I do not believe in perfect. Okay? I do not believe in it. No, not at all. I throw it out the door and go, in my own manner and definition, like I am outdoing myself every day. I'm going to say it like that. And I peak, and I understand, I get smarter, and I understand, and I explain better, and I live better at the same time. Not the fact that I'm going by perfect. I can't stand any minute of it, because it's just a bunch of baloney, or it would be here already, and everybody would be doing it on the planet as soon as they popped out of their mother and inside their mother. Okay, so there's no such thing as perfect. At the same time, there is the one mental trouble that causes also any trouble. I don't care if it's stubbing your toe on a table, it's still from that one mental trouble. Getting rid of that one mental trouble, 3/4 of the way, okay, you will be very happy you did so. Okay, and that's why the whole body is one unit of mentality channel. Okay? And don't let somebody tell you it isn't. When you pop a punch, you did it because of your noggin or how you were taught and saw. And you said, I then have to do it in my own way because this fight coming at me, okay, I trained for, and I see that my opponent is fighting in this manner. Okay? You're not your sensei, and you're not your co-students, your fellow students. Okay? You have to fight in your own way. That's why people are so good, because they understand that fact so well, and other people don't. They do a mimic. Okay? They usually mimic, and mimicking is not real. And that's a big deal there when it comes to the martial arts, just to give you some information on martial arts if you're not a martial artist. You don't mimic when you're a martial artist. The things that you are good at, you have to work upon. If you're good at a hook, you work upon that. If you're good at kicking, the top fighter in the world today is so feared because he is so good at kicking. Literally, his name is Terry O'Neill. He's a head bouncer in one of the roughest neighborhoods in the entire world in Liverpool, England. Okay, but it's mental. Everything is mental. I'm not saying your skin cells are your brain cells. No, I'm not. Okay, but the effect that things can have on your body, like I was just saying to you, is called a transformation. One of the things, anyway, a transformation. This is a cell understanding that every cell in your body can be transformed, not to it. Well, you skinwalk then, but the thing is that from, by, and with your cells in any part of your body can help in the transformation for your brain. Okay, and that has to do with the fact that we have that channel of mentality. Okay, if I was to go like this and stick my fingers out, I'm looking at it with my eye. It then gets understood by my brain, the way my eye works to my brain, my fingers. So, if I was to understand that, if I was to notion and motion this in a certain sequence, it'll help me or it'll help my body, because my body is too. We're all connected here as a mentality. Okay, that's why if you would have cut yourself, okay, if you would have cut yourself with a knife, and the blood flow couldn't get to your brain, that won't heal. It won't go through the cycle in your body. First of all, you pass out, and second of all, it won't get healed. Okay? So when you smoke, it goes into your lungs, to your brain. Okay? But you can actually help your skin by thinking. Okay? I do it all the time. I have a very rare skin disorder, but at the same time, my doctor says I manage it better than she does, than she understands, because I do. Okay? And it's all because of how I'm speaking in this video. I get rid of that one mental trouble 3/4 of the way every single day. Okay? Every single day. Especially with hypnosis and the ways of this video. Okay? So, thing trying to say is that you're hypnotizing yourself. Boom. Hypnotizing. So we're all mental. It's called a mentalist at the same time. Okay? So, to learn that anything, where you just learn absolutely anything and it doesn't end, but it's that one type of the number one. By that answering way, there is no right or wrong answer, just the answer you give to you, because you're thinking to yourself, you're being so nice by your thought. You're going to help it to find out what a thought, then that thought helps that one until you answered it. Okay? And you could be that nice to yourself. Anybody could. Okay? And to learn how to do that is the fact that you want to make yourself a happiness coach, literally, as a happy thought. And that number one is, I made myself happy. Literally, that's the answer. A happiness coach can make anybody happier, be a doctor, the president of the United States, or the head of the military. Okay? I can actually do that in many, many cases. Find and be so nice and be happy and find yourself to be happy with that answering way. The happier you think, the happier you'll be. Because you'll come up with more happy things that make you happier and happier and happier and nicer to yourself. You want to be happy for yourself and your partner and your family and your friends and your job. Okay? And your life and your social life and your understanding of social life and knowledge in general. Master of people, places, and things, and adult. Okay? So, to the happy, again, the answer is just a certain type of a number one. Not the number one on the planet that we use every day. First, discover, okay, and just think it right up as of a type of a number one. Not the number one on the planet. Okay? You came up with the answer. If you want to search another realm, be my guest and go find it, because I know it's there already. Okay? Alright, so that's the end of the video. It's a 45-minute video, okay, and I hope that you enjoyed it, because, the main thing about this is that I could teach you how to do however you wish with this video. Add it to anything you want. Making love as a movie or any other way you wish. But when it comes to certain, when you decide to use it for something, you also have to listen to this video in a certain manner. When I said making love, okay, as a movie, and you don't use words as love, okay, that's fine. But that's not going to help like you think if you want to find a uniform to find a kung fu, because the uniform belongs to that kung fu, which is part of my fighting videos if you want to go and watch them too. Okay? Probably words in a certain manner would help that a little bit better. And then when you find out the howness part, it has nothing to do with making love. Unless you want to use a kung fu outfit and kung fu make love if you're Chinese. Literally. Most people, they'd say, no, I really, that's my phone ringing, I gotta go. I really don't want to use a love thought for a kung fu outfit. Alright, I will talk to you later. Alright, thanks guys, bye.